Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very second New York Sports Junkies podcast. Now let's get started with some football. The New York Giants. Okay, the Giants are coming off a big win over the Packers. I remember last week, everyone was scared. Everyone said 31-13 against the Bengals. Everyone started bringing up, the bad mid-season stretch of Tom Coughlin is coming. It's coming, guys. But they came out banging against Aaron Rodgers and that weak offensive line. They banged him out. I remember Matthias Kiwanuka, 2 sacks, a whole bunch of tackles. They did their thing. They shook up Aaron Rodgers, and like I said last week, this is what they needed to do. And they did, and they won the game. They won the game decisively, 38-10. The pass rush did its job. They took care of business. At the end of the day, Eli Manning took advantage of a poor defense, did his job, and they got a big win. Just goes to show you that when the Giants are playing at their best, they can compete with the best. And that's why everyone in New York is focusing on them, because that's what they should be doing. Now, I'm recording this on a Sunday, actually, but there's going to be a big game coming up later today, the Giants versus Redskins. Now, when I look at these games, now you can't take the Redskins lightly. You just can't. Okay, I'm pretty sure the Giants lost their first game against them this season. They lost both games against them last year. This is a team the Giants often struggle with. Why? Because to me, they played down to their competition. But now this team's looking good. With the win, the Redskins will pull one game behind the Giants. So the Giants cannot look past them. Not at all. When I analyzed and I broke down this game, you got to look at a couple things. One, this team has both teams have good to great pass rushes. So you have to watch out for that. Another thing, they both have questionable secondaries, but definitely Washington's is way more than the Giants, way more questionable. And now you got to look at their quarterbacks. Obviously, you have someone who is vying for Rookie of the Year, but on the other side, you have MVP Eli Manning, 2-time MVP, Super Bowl MVP, I might add. So when I break this down, it's either are you going to take the rookie or are you going to take the MVP? And I'm going to go with Eli Manning. I think the Giants will win this game decisively. Might be a struggle. RG3 might come with some quick strikes to make the game pressured, but I really think that Eli Manning will pull through for his team, and the Redskins secondary will just not be able to hold up. Now, this week, let me see, the Giants signed 2 running backs, Ryan Torreen and Craig Lumpkin. Torreen, surprising enough, his former team is actually the Redskins. Now, he had some good size, some power to the Giants running games, while Lumpkin, he's been around the league. You know, he played for the Packers, Seahawks, and most recently the Buccaneers. He can definitely catch the ball out of the backfield, 41 receptions, 291 yards. So he can be a force. I feel like both of these guys can definitely be a force in the team. They wouldn't be here, but since Andre Brown is on the injured reserve right now, they are here. And they're adding some much-needed depth to the team. They're going to help Ahmad Bradshaw. They're going to help David Wilson. But if you're a Giants fan, I do not take this as a good sign. Because after David Wilson had that fumble a couple weeks ago, this shows that Tom Coughlin doesn't have faith in David Wilson right now. And he's your first-round draft pick. You need to have faith in him, just like the Jets need to have faith in Quentin Coples. But they're signing other backs, so they don't want to put the ball in David Wilson's hand. And that's not good if you ask me. It's good that they're adding depth, but it's not good for the development of David Wilson, and it might show that, hey, maybe this kid isn't what we thought he was. Now, some big news for the Jets. The Jets are always on the front page, never for the right reasons. Tebow had cracked ribs last week. He couldn't even throw the ball to a kid. He had to throw it with his non-dominant hand, I believe his right hand. He had cracked ribs, but guess what? He was still dressed for the game, while Greg McElroy was not even eligible to play. I know Tebow said to Rex Ryan that he was able to play, but hey, a player is always going to say that. It's your job as a coach to decipher if it's right or not. God forbid Mark Sanchez got hit and knocked out of the game. What would the Jets have done? You guys tell me, what would they have done besides throwing that game away at that very second? What would they have done? They would have to put some running back who had high school experience. Or just pray that Tebow held together. Or pray that Tebow could throw with his non-dominant hand. It's ridiculous. And this week, the game just finished a couple minutes ago, actually. It was do or die this week for the Jets. And it was an ugly, ugly game. Now, let me tell you my prediction now that the game is over. It's like, I'm definitely not talking about playoffs, but do I think that this team could have beat the Cardinals? Yes, I did. And it was a lot uglier than I had initially expected, okay? The game was 7-6. The Cardinals put out their rookie, Ryan Lindley. Didn't score a touchdown, got 2 field goals to go in. No one could get Larry Fitzgerald the ball for some reason. And most importantly, Mark Sanchez was ineffective for the whole game. In the third quarter, the score was 3-0. And towards the end of the quarter, they said, that's it. We're putting Greg McElroy in. The kid from Alabama. The kid who led that team to an SEC championship. And that is not easy to do. Granted, he's a 7th round pick. But hey, the kid showed guts. He got down, he was sacked, he was hit, he got up, he got in that player's face. Something Mark Sanchez would never do. And let's look at what he did. He took that team, marched down the field, got a touchdown pass. And guess what? He could have ran it himself. But he gave it to his tight end, let him take care of it. The game ended 7-6, and now there's going to be a quarterback controversy. It's going to be a battle. This is not Mark Sanchez's job anymore. It's up for grabs. Next week they'll be versing Jacksonville, and that should be another winnable game. The Jets have to win out to get into the postseason. No choice. They have to win out. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but we'll see. Now let's move on to some NCAA football. Okay, Rutgers this week lost to Louisville 20-17. This was such a disappointment for the Scarlet Knights. That stadium was sold out. Almost 53,000 people there. They let an 11-point lead slip away. They let a BCS bowl bid slip away. They let a Big East championship slip away. They had 2 chances to get this. They could have wrapped it up last week if they beat Pitt, but they lost 27-6. And this week they lost 2017, and it was just so disappointing. And the way it happened was even worse. Do any of you guys know the name Teddy Bridgewater? Yeah, me neither. Okay, this kid's a sophomore quarterback. Yes, some people are projecting that he'll be a Heisman candidate, but this dude had a fractured left wrist. He should have been ineffective, but instead, he threw 20 for 28, 263 yards, and 2 touchdowns. John Wallace drove in the 29-yard field goal with 1:41 remaining, and that was the end of that. People are starting to think this program is cursed, okay, with their luck. This was such a huge disappointment. And I read this in the New York Daily's new article. They're wearing black. Well, guess what? You guys should have been awake because they got murdered. That shouldn't have happened, and it did. And everyone was disappointed. They're not going to go to a major bowl. They never have. And from what it's looking like, they're going to be in like one of those, excuse my French, one of those bullshit bowls. I'm hearing the Belk Bowl. The Belk Bowl. That's what Rutgers will be playing for. Never heard of it in my life. Anyway, for some varsity football, I'm very, very, very sorry, guys. I am not even sure if this game has been played yet. Erasmus Hall versus Tottenville. I feel such a bad podcaster right now, but basically this game has some interesting twists and turns to it, mainly because how can I say this? There was a girl, Felicia Garcia. She, I believe, attended Tottenville. God, I'm so unprepared. Felicia Garcia, she attended... Basically, she killed herself. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, she attended Tottenville. She killed herself after rumors were spreading that she slept with multiple members on the varsity football squad. It was horrible. She jumped in front of a train. Rumors are spreading. Her last tweet was like, "I could not take this anymore," and multiple of these players were suspended, and rightfully so. So that makes the game a little more interesting. And actually, the coach of Erasmus Hall was trying to sneak back into his house. Security had to take him away. He said he had very, very important notes there. But the game has not been played yet, I believe, and it's really sad, like these side stories to the game that are taken away from them. But I do suggest that if you guys have a chance, go to Yankee Stadium, go watch it. It's a PSAL final. This is for the championship, and they're saying that a star could emerge from here. Right now, Erasmus Hall versus Tottenville, there's not like that many talks about a star. I know some kids are going to Syracuse, some kids are going to UConn, but they're saying a legit star can come out of this game and will be realized. So I heavily suggest you guys check that out.